Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Sound check 1 2. Hello, everybody. It is time for the Ranchcast. Today is Friday, November 25th. No, October 25th. I have the wrong date completely. So welcome to the Ranchcast. If you'd like to join the conversation today, this is being live streamed over Mixer and Twitch and YouTube all at the same time. So we're not using their chat. If you'd like to use their chat, I will actually show you where. So if you want to join our chat, go out to slack.rancher.io, put in your email address. You'll get an invite to our community Slack channel, and then in the community Slack channel, let me grab my Slack app. Go join the Ranchcast channel. So feel free to come say hi, make fun of me, do all those fun things as well, and join us in the chat, ask questions, and all of that as well. So today we are going to put the power of Y2K into your Kubernetes. So with the release of Rancher 2.3, we added support for Windows Server containers, and part of that support, of course, is the ability to take older Windows apps and add them into Kubernetes. Today we're going to do a few things. We are going to grab an old app from like the year 2000. Then we are going to see if it works in modern Windows, because that's step one. If it doesn't work in modern Windows, it's probably not going to work in a container. From there, we are then going to containerize the application. Once we containerize the application, we'll then spin up a Rancher cluster with some Windows nodes and add to Kubernetes. I actually started that process a few minutes ago, probably a little too late. So we may have to wait a few minutes for the automation to finish, but that's going. A couple other things before we get started. Again, slack.rancher.io if you want to join the conversation. In addition to that, if you want to see me live, I will be at Tech Bash coming up in just 17 days and 12 hours. This is an awesome conference. I've been involved with this conference longer than I've been with Rancher. A lot of great speakers in the .NET space, the Java space, the Kubernetes space. I'll be out there to talk about Kubernetes. I'll be out there to talk about breaking the monolith. The upside is that the hotel and conference center is also a water park. So bring your family. 1 day passes available, 3 and 4 day passes available, and there'll be some like cool sessions for the kids on Friday. I heard there's a serpent show and like coding for kids, 11 and up, and some other things about tech for kids for younger than that as well. So I've been doing this event for a number of years now. Prior to my days with Rancher, this is an awesome event. So by all means, come join us. Also, if you want to come see me in Minneapolis, I'm going to be doing the Minneapolis Lighthouse. So Lighthouse Roadshow / North America. We're doing a bunch of these with GitLab, with Aqua, with Portworx coming up. I'll be the one in Minneapolis. If you all watch the Twitch stream I did 2 nights ago, Build with AM and Nikki, AM from Build with AM and Nikki is going to be on that doing the AWS portion. I'll be doing the Rancher portion. It'll be a lot of fun. Come join us if you're out in the Minneapolis area. Check in the chat. Nothing out there interesting yet. And always follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/me, Jason Van Brackle. I tweet a lot about DevOps, a lot about Rancher and Kubernetes, and unfortunately a lot about the Baltimore Orioles and Baltimore Ravens. I'm a rabid Baltimore fan. Grew up just south of there, old enough to remember when the Colts left. So, check me out there as well. So let's start with finding an app. So first things first, we need to find an old app. Now, I went through my archives and realized I didn't save anything that old. I started writing software, unprofessionally, just as, playing around back as a kid in the mid-90s, learning C and QBasic, and it really was, I got pissed off at a computer game. So if any of you remember American Gladiators back in the 90s, there was a PC version of the game. I think it was written by maybe Game Tech. Who knows? They wrote a lot of this licensed software. May not have been them, so don't yell at them if they're still around. But there was a tournament, and in each round you went through the set of events, and if you won, you went on the next round of the tournament. Well, there was a bug in that program, and the bug in that program was that you'd win the match but not move on to the tournament. Like, it made me angry, and 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old me thought this was really terrible, had no idea what to do about it. So I went to a library and said, how do I fix a computer game? And they said, well, programming. I went and got a book on QBasic. Helped me patch American Gladiators. And then I realized that, hey, QBasic was fun for my computer and fun for my calculator, so I wrote calculator games. And then later went and got into computer science and got into this professionally. and then eventually learned how to be a professional software developer, because computer science and professional software development unfortunately have very little to do with each other in a lot of ways. So all that to say, I needed to find an old app. So I went back, Google helped me find an app. And if any of you remember the 4 guys from Rolla, I think they were all from Motorola. The last of the 4 guys left this blog, for lack of a better term, back in 2011. But all of the archives are still there. So I went back there and looked for an app, and I found this build a simple chat application. I thought, perfect, let's try this one. So this is their simple chat application. You can even see here it was published in Wednesday, March 22nd of 2000. This application is almost 20 years old. And you're thinking, well, are there 20-year-old applications out there? Oh, absolutely. I've worked in the enterprise for a long time. There's still Fortran and COBOL out back there, which is probably 30 and 40 and even older as far as software goes. So I actually did some research recently to find out if I could containerize a COBOL app. And yes, Microfocus COBOL, they're talking about containerization all over the website. I wrote some of that stuff early in my career, so I was just kind of interested. Hey, is there containerization here? Yes, there is. You can containerize COBOL. So let's grab this app, and we'll start with step 1. So we found our old app, our old legacy app. The zip file is right here. So we'll grab the full code. We'll save this somewhere. Grab that out of my downloads, which I'm realizing open on a different screen. That's okay. We'll pull over to our desktop. We'll minimize all this. Grab our chat app. There we go. So we have our chat application. This thing is, of course, ancient. Let's unblock it. Now, you really shouldn't just randomly download software and unblock it, but I've actually taken a look at this software once before, and this was years ago. That's why I knew how to look for it, and it's innocuous. So don't just grab random executables from the year 2000. Opposite folders. I'm just pulling folders over so you can see it. We have our simple chat application. Let's go ahead and open that up in VS Code. Take a look at this chat application. VS Code. And see if there's anything really, really out of the ordinary interesting here. So I'm guessing it's 3 pages. We have our default HTML page. Make this a little bit larger for those of you eyes like mine online. So it's a frame set. Pretty common pattern back in 2000. Chat page, ASP Classic. So let's look at display and message. I'll go to message first. And yep, pretty simple HTML. Submain. Looks like there's, everything's going into the request. This is just building request out, and then display prompts. Actually building the web page in this as well. So it's sending a put out, session IP, session variables, some application variables. The application variables, for those who are not ASP Classic fluent, it's just a place for the application within the scope of that application in IIS, if I remember correctly. Old memory. Session variable was for the user session, just to store various variables. So no database in here. That's actually kind of a blessing. Couldn't remember if there's a database or not. And then display. And look, we're just building a web page in ASP Classic. Error stuff, using the application variables. So this should come over actually pretty easily. I don't see any red flags in here as far as containerization goes, or as far as the application itself. So sometimes there's going to be some modification you have to make to the existing application. Hopefully you have the source code. Not always. A number of years ago, I was working on a Delphi app, and I got source code that wouldn't compile, and a bunch of command line or a bunch of comments in source code like, this doesn't effing work, but they won't notice. I'll fix it later. 5 years after they wrote it. I'll fix it now. Code quality matters. I see no unit testing in here, which is pretty normal for ASP Classic. So if I were to actually break up this into microservices, that would be a little bit harder, but that's an animal to tackle for another day. Actually, I'll be talking about that at Tech Bash. Maybe I'll use this app as an example. I haven't picked my example app for that yet. So, first things first, let's see if it runs on new Windows. Any idiosyncrasy. So I'm going to need a few things. I'm going to turn on Windows features. Oh, you can't see my start menu. So I'm just typing in, I'm hitting the Windows key and typing in turn Windows features on and off. So that will get me into the Windows features menu because I had to see what I actually had turned on. So we've got some IIS, web management tools. Okay, so I've got management console. For those unfamiliar with management console, I'll just open that up in a screen. That's for actually managing websites. I don't have any websites to use because there are no websites. We'll delete this one. This was me testing out another chat app like recently. Just looking for old apps. So let's get so we'll need a couple things. We will need IIS working. And let's see. So we have a frame set into ASP Classic pages. So we're just to bare minimum here. So this isn't all the features of IIS. This isn't everything we need. This is just bare minimum to get us running for this example. We're going to grab app dev features and we're going to turn on ASP. Now note that also turn on the ISAPI extensions. We just need to make note of that. So I'm making note of that, over my notes. Just so that we know that we need the ISAP extensions as well as ASP. Okay, good. So on top of that, and then we'll also, if I remember correctly, static content was different, and I've tripped over that before too. Where is that? And this won't be in security. I know that. Automatically did that. We'll leave that alone. Common HTTP features. Oh, there it is. Static content. We're going to turn these on. Hopefully it doesn't require a reboot because I'm hosting OBS from here. Didn't think through that one, did I? Eventually, I'll just have one machine that has all the operating system on it, and OBS can be completely separate. But for Windows, for now, not so much. We may hiccup there. We may not. We'll figure that out. One of those areas where I just want to record these videos and fast forward stuff like that, but we're live. So no questions out in the chat. Again, I got to put a banner at the bottom of where I'm speaking about joining the chat live. So if you'd like to join our chat live, slack.rancher.io, put in your email address, and it's the Ranchcast channel. We're here. So awesome. I'll keep watching that as well. Feel free to say hi. How's IIS doing? Windows features. Okay, completed changes. No reboot, no reboot. All right, no reboot required. Yes. So let's go ahead and grab our code. We'll dump it. Desktop chat is fine. One thing that we're going to need, this is old school IIS stuff that you'll trip over if you get into IIS. In ASP Classic, we need the iUser account to have access to this folder. So we're going to security. We're going to add a user. So we're going to add our permissions and add. And when we created IIS, we also added the IIS user and the iUser. Find everyone. There it is. This account will be for ASP Classic. If I remember correctly, this was for ASP Classic and this was for ASP.NET, but I could be completely wrong there. It has been a bunch of years since I've had to set up IIS by hand. So I'm just going. We'll know pretty quickly if it doesn't work. So we'll set that up. Looks good. Apply. And then we'll need to set up a website. So this is where IIS Manager comes in. And so we'll need an application pool. Actually, I already got one, but I'll show you how to create it. Because I don't know if I have .NET Framework on this machine to hook up into IIS. So application pool. Oh, I do. So you have the CLR version and a no managed code version, and ASP is not considered managed code, so you have a no managed code version. Give it a name, start it immediately, integrated pipeline. That's all you need to know. And then this is already working, so we're just going to use that one. I'm going to recycle it in case there's anything going on in there. There shouldn't be. And then let's create a site. So we're going to add a website. We'll give it a site name. We'll call it Old Chat. We'll give it a physical path into the desktop. And my chat app. Okay. And we don't really have to worry about the host name in this case or HTTPS or any of that because we just want to see if it. And we'll start the website immediately. Stopped. Got start it. Not access file because it's being used by Al. Close that down. Start it again. Yeah, very easy. That's okay. So let's actually just create a fresh app pool. Oh. I picked the wrong pool. Okay. I did this wrong. That's okay. This is why we do things live, because they're more fun this way. Let's go back into our settings for this application. Properties, and no, it's not edit bindings. Permission, no, it's not edit permission. All right. I forget where this is. Manage website. Advanced settings. All right. Application pool. We want the old school app pool. Desktop chat. Table protocol. Might just because I have it on a desktop. It's a bad idea. Fresh. Start. Yeah, we're just gonna move this. Oh. I have the application right now. Open here. Let's close that up. Wonder if that's what's going on. Right again. Nope. Still wrong. All right. We're just going to wipe out all the things and start over again. We have... I have another window open that I can't see that has this thing open in it. No, I'm not seeing anything there. So, you know what? We're just going to copy it somewhere else. Desktop. Chat. Cut. Right on the C drive. Paste. We're going to check our settings. Time. Make sure our security settings didn't change. Okay, we bought the edit. No, not C. Yeah, let's give all users access to C. That's a great idea. Yep. All right. Read, write, full execute. That all looks good to me. Create a new website. Default. I know, not the default app pool. We're going to grab that ASP pool. We're going to have it go to this PC and C and chat. No host name. HTTP on 80. We'll grab 8080 just in case that's posing us up. Oh. Really old chat. All right. Look good? We'll see. Hey, and it started. Yeah, I'm guessing a directory thing. Didn't like being on the desktop. All right. Let's browse it. Nothing so far. Let's hit the index page. It was index, wasn't it? Or was it display? It was display. 404. Okay. We're on 8080. We're bound to everything. Really old chat. Oh, did I not do this right? Oh, default. Bam. Hey, really old chat launched. Look at that. That's cool. 20-year-old chat. Let's, oh, new visitor from, and he even sees the IPv6. Cool. All right, so let's change this around. And, hey, really old chat. The errors. Oh, just okay, it's refreshing. And I think I saw something that said a command for IP. That too. Something? Hey, look at that. That's cool. All right. And it's all reset in there. I bet that takes that away. I bet that's what that does. All right. I saw reset in the code. Hey, all right. It works. Let's containerize this bad boy. All right. Anything out in chat? Nothing yet. All right. So we have the power of Y2K on our Windows desktop. Let's get the power of Y2K into a container. So let's grab our Docker file and need a VS Code window. Go for our Docker file. All right. VS Code window. I'm writing a blog post on this too. For chat app we're just looking at. New file. We're gonna call it. Oh, actually, you know what? We'll tell it. Save it. We'll tell it's Docker file. We know it's Docker file. So let's think about this. We're gonna need to do a couple of things. We're gonna need to. We're gonna need to all those things we did in IS. But all this just a minute ago. And so notes. All right. So first things first, we're gonna need IS. So, and then we're going to turn on ASP Classic and the ISAP extensions. And static content. So that's all important. Now I happen to know IIS administration does on PowerShell, so use PowerShell. I'm sure there's not PowerShelly ways to do it, but I've done a lot of PowerShell, so that's my native thing. Static content. Oh, remove the default website. So since I've mangled this machine more ways than not, what you should know is that the default website comes with IIS, so we're gonna have to remove that. Then we're going to have to create a new website. I'll make this a little bigger. I'm actually looking at my feed, my stream, and it's small. So create a new website, and then we will have to there. Oh no, not that. Wrong one. Plus. All right. So create the new website, and then we'll. Oh, get the source. Now, when you're dealing with old school monoliths, I would recommend that you start with the build process. So if there's not, if source code's not stored anywhere, go store it somewhere like version control. Now, back in 2000, you would have had, let's see, it's CVS out there and PVCS and a bunch of the players in the game, but those were the two that I remember back in the early 2000s. So if they're in one of those, move them to Git. Obviously, whatever else you want to use, Git is fine by me. And you'll probably want to start with some unit testing. Now, this one's tough because it's all ASP Classic. I'd actually recommend going to Selenium. Let's actually open up a website. And so SeleniumHQ.org. Oh, I've been here semi-recently. So Selenium automates web browsers. So you could write it can write unit tests for the various functions of the browser, and it has this really cool IDE. So you could actually record. So let's like see what a recording of this site might look like for localhost. Nope, 8080. Oh, yes, that's right. We need default. But actually, let's get the recording going first. So I'm going to record it in test project. Really old stuff. Hit OK. And then base URL. Oh, good. I have the URL. So I'm going to go http, //localhost 8080. So we're going to start recording. So it's going to open that in a browser. My IDE is recording what's going on in this browser. Oh. All right. So we have our application. Let's change our name to like JVB. Let's send a message. Send. Then we'll do an IP test and send. And then we'll do a reset. Wait for the IP to pop up. And I'll just do a select on this so I know what it's called. Recording. And then I'll do a reset and send. Now let's look to see what the Selenium IDE did. How that works. Okay, here it is. So we can see here, and we'll just stop the recording. Test name is sample test. Okay. It's been a while since I've done Selenium. This ID looks a little bit different than it did back when I was using it. And you can see here now, open the window, set the window size, like everything I did, it recorded. So we clicked on the button, we clicked the button or the text box name username. We entered a username in there. We clicked some more. We sent the message, more. So when I clicked on the IP address, it said, hey, CSS command, nth child number 2. I can wrote down. Oh yeah, message IP, nth child 2. So I could actually check. I'd have to do like, what is it called? I could do, I can add asserts in here to assert that the text that I typed in is the text that ends up on the screen. We actually use this to record tests to replay back, and this used to be able to export to code. Let's see, may just be my copy of the IDE. Save project. We have exports running CI. If we save, what happens? Really old stuff. Project. Interesting. I know there was a way to export this to code. Let's actually check real quick. Selenium export project to just say C# because I know a lot of C#. How to export? Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Older IDE. Closest I found is option export to Java. Oh, interesting. There's got to be a way, because the ID's been around forever, and maybe I just grab an older copy of it. But yeah, it'll export to code to give you unit test codes. Use Selenium docs, code export. Where is that? Started. Select language. Okay, cool. Where was that? That was in Untitled Export. Go look at it. Export. Okay, we can export the JUnit to Python. I wonder if there's a way to like a plugin model for this. It wouldn't surprise me. I'll research that later. Different thing for a different day. But this allows you to quickly and easily add UI testing to an application, export the code, so you actually have a solid unit test for your old school app that probably didn't have those built back in 2000. I mean, there were people doing test for development. It wasn't called that, or may have been called that. I don't remember how far TDD goes back. Fuzzy brain there. Nobody on the chat's there to correct me right now. So we know it works. Let's containerize it. So we're going to need IS. I bet we can find that out in Docker Hub. IS. Windows IS. Microsoft IS by Docker Hub. Yep, this is. So this is a Windows Server container. Now, if you're not familiar with Windows Server containers, they are attached to a version of Windows. So we have, let's see, featured tags, how to use the image, verify in the browser. And specifically, because we're on Windows 10, we're on the most recent version of Windows 10, we're going to need the 1903 container. So Windows containers, let's see, Windows container versioning. And huge shout out to SIG Windows, anybody watching from SIG Windows, who've done all this really awesome work. I've been a lurker out there, contribute occasionally. Not much recently, but occasionally. So we have host OS compatibility, and Hyper-V isolation is not supported in Kubernetes, so we can ignore that. We just need to know which one supports Hyper-V isolation, or not Hyper-V, process isolation. And we notice here Windows Server 1903, and then where's the Windows stuff? Windows 10, 1903, host OS compatibility. Yeah, just understand your container versions are attached to an operating system version, and I just happen to know we need 1903 because I know the version of my Windows 10. So we're going to grab that tag. So we're going to grab this, throw it into our Docker file as a from, and then we need the tag for that Windows Server Core. Nope, not the featured ones. Server Core. Interesting. Date. We're going to live dangerously and grab the most recent with the weird date on it. That must be a new build. Maybe it's like a weekly build versus stable. You know what? Let's live a little bit less dangerous. All right, so we got our base. Hopefully, I already have that on my machine because I know for a fact IIS's base container is. Actually, we're going to Docker pull that. It takes a few minutes. A PowerShell window. Oh, and I need to make so I'm on Windows machine, so I've got Docker for desktop, which I make sure it's on Windows Server container. Not, so I'm going to switch to Windows containers. Take like 30 seconds to a minute. It's happening in the background now. Wow, that was fast. Linux container holdover takes a minute. So we're going to just do a Docker pull on that to make sure we have that in our system. We do good. Good. I've been playing with Windows containers a lot. And I'm like, have images. All right. We did that. So we're going to turn on ASP Classic, ISAPI, and static content. So what we're going to want here is the install Windows feature command. We're going to PowerShell. PowerShell. I'm already in PowerShell. Aren't I good? Yeah. So it's install. No. What was install Windows features? Not recognized. Oh, Windows features. Let me go check some other code off screen real quick. Yeah, it's install Windows feature. Did I spell that wrong? Ew. All right. Well, I don't have that PowerShell module on my machine. It is install Windows features. Look, yeah, I've got other code written up here. Okay. Fortunately, I remember the name for all these. So we'll install Windows feature ASP, or is it ISAPI? I cannot remember. It's like web. It's not ASP. I know that. I think it's. All right. Old memory. And I know this one is. I think it's like ISAPI X. It's not ISAP external. It's ISAPI. Oh, is it telling me? No, it's not. I thought it was telling me that. I'm gonna guess. That extension. Well, that's I wrote extension earlier. All right, and then we need static content, and we need install feature. Now, it's going to be a little bit different on if you're on Windows Server versus Windows Desktop. I'm doing the Windows Desktop, or no, it's the same. This container is a Windows Server. This is the problem with having been in Windows so long. I feel like things have changed, and they probably haven't. It's just my brain has stopped using. We're going to need PowerShell. We're going to shell out to PowerShell. I think is PowerShell -command. I've got notes on that shell command because I don't remember that. Yeah, -command. Just saying, hey, use PowerShell for all these things and pass in the -command because the default shell for default shell is CMD, and this is out of order. We're going to need this back in this order. We did that. Next up, we're going to have to remove our website. So we get to remove the website. That is actually just called remove website, which is kind of nice. And we'll have to do it. It's I don't have it on mine to do it. I think it's just called default website. Site. Oh, it's a PowerShell command. It probably defaults to name, but let's not take any chances. Like that. And then again, I'm looking this up from another piece of code. I'm going to need a UI site. I'm going to name a physical path, binding info. I'm going to just copy the binding info to the other site because I'm not going to remember that off the top of my head while I'm typing things out. We're going to call this. Remember, these are just all PowerShell commands in the IIS admin. New IIS site. Name is, let's just call it really app. Then I need a. I said it. Physical path. My brain is tired. So what did I put that in? Colon. Let's look that up. Oh no, container. I don't need it. I'm gonna put it on CChat. It means we're going to create the directory. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to do. We'll do it in PowerShell. New item. Kind, or is it type? Item type. I feel like it was kind in an old version of PowerShell, but it's that's path / cat, and then item type. I feel like there was kind folder before, but maybe it's another PowerShell command. One is directory. I'll save that Docker file in a sec. My blog post, which also includes this chat. We're doing it from desktop, right? Up. Docker file. Oh, it's actually helping me now. Valid build stage. Oh, that's why. Docker pull. I just copied the command. But I saved it earlier. Telling me, oh, I need run. 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 More run. Lots more run. And even more run. And then we did binding info, which I just copied because I wasn't going to remember that syntax. And basically, this binding info just says take all the nicks, anything coming on 80, send it to this site. Then we need to copy the source files, and we'll copy from /. We need to run this from /. We'll run it just from the chat folder into the C:\/ chat folder. All right, let's check our Wrenchcast chat. Nothing in here. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the Docker from. Yeah, we'll do the folder. We'll grab all the source files and put them into. Actually, no, inside the Docker folder. / and like that. I think that's right. We'll find out in a minute. All right, so we have our Docker file. Docker, no, not Docker file. Thank you for being helpful. Oh, I can't rename it. We'll just use a -f then for Dockerfile.Dockerfile. That's a good one. All right. Next thing's next. Let's go ahead and build this Docker thing, and I'll just throw it in my Docker. Now, I already have one called chat. So let's open up my PowerShell window again. So, on my desktop. All right, Dockerfile.Dockerfile. All right, Docker build. Context is here. Be a -f or the. Yep. And then we need -t. Now my repository is called More Human Software, and that's because I just like to make software easier for human beings to grok. And then we'll call this really old chat. I know I already have one called chat, and we'll give it a latest tag. What did I do wrong? Unknown instruction physical path. Oh, multi-line command. Hey, all right. Looks like we'll know in a minute whether I got all that PowerShell right. Creating directory. I'm just glad I already had Windows Server Core on this machine. That would have been off like to go. While it's going, let's see how my Terraform's doing to see if I have my site up yet. So the cool thing is I've got everything hooked up through a KVM. You can just switch monitors. Or not? Oh, no, there it goes. It's switching monitors. All right, we have a site up. Please be kind and don't go using my password. Is it up and running? Good, it is up and running. So I'm actually going to do this. Also disable on this machine. Name is admin. And password, we're just going to grab off of here. My nice. The Terraform we're using is the same one that will be in this blog post. It's also it's in the cattle drive stuff that we've been using for automate all the things. I've just modularized it a bit. Actually, there was a blog post last week. I think I went through this. Yeah, you can update that. And you can see here we have this. We now have this cluster with some Windows nodes. So that was just building while we were talking and doing the Docker files. This is all ready to go. I need a couple things though. I want to know execute tail on this because I don't want the scheduler inadvertently putting stuff over here. So call this win. We know what? Yeah, we'll just call this Windows through, and it gets into a schedule taint. So this is now tainted. Linuxy things will not end up here. Let's see if everything is copacetic on this platform. I should have that as part of my RKE process. I don't see anything blowing up. Chorus autoscaler. I'm not even worried about that right now. Continuous autoscaler. I'm not even worried about that. This is a small cluster. Default. Didn't have anything in here. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. Awesome. So we've seen now that this is ready to go. We'll be back here in a second. Let's go back to our other host. Oh, wrong one. I've got a shortcut key to go to switch my KVM around. It's a hardware keyboard key mouse video, KMV, not KVM, key value manager. And so we're doing the install. Take a couple of minutes on this. To know. Oh, all right. I'll ignore the warning. I've seen that warning before doing old school ASP. I'll look it up one of these days. We'll talk about what that actually means. And then copy the files. Oh, I didn't save the Docker file when I changed that chat command earlier. It might break. It might not. At least most of the layers will already be into the Docker components, and we'll be okay there. So, okay, we're good. We're installing WebAssembly. Now we get to find out whether I actually added the feature right. Hey, no change needed. Oh, when I added IIS, it automatically did the extension for me. Because it did it for me when I did it in the operating system. So I actually added code that I didn't need. All right, that's fine. Won't hurt the container. Next step. Remove website. If I spelled the default website right. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Nope, I did not. Positional parameter that accepts this argument. Remove website, default website. His default website. I was just dash. It is a .name. We don't really have to remove the website. The website's blocking 8. And you know what? We'll leave it be for now. So, back into our Docker file. I don't see anything wrong with this from some of my old stuff. I thought it was dash name. All right, we're just gonna comment this out for now. Figure out later. And instead of 80, just some 80 here. Just because we'll get around the default website. So we'll have a default website running in this and go from there. So back into PowerShell. Try it again. I love the fact that we keep layers around. This is one of the favorite things with Docker. Like the more you use, the faster it gets. Physical path, binding information, that all looks good to go. Created it, copy. Hey, all right, cool. I do a Docker, images. Good, I've got my really old chat here. I've got my other chat app. And we'll just Docker push this. Push. Oh, I'm so used to Linux where it just fills in the blank for me. Oh, I called it real. Old chat. All right, so we're pushing all that up there. Towards that repo already has the big giant Windows 1, or I can just grab it from somewhere else. All right. We're ready to Windows. So we'll go back to our other machine, which is ready to rock. All right. They're really cool. All right, let's deploy this thing. Ooh, let's go into dark. Really bright. My eyes are actually twitching a little bit because I've been in front of this thing way too much this week. Going into dark. All right. Resources. Let's create a workload. And let's just deploy an app. We'll do it by hand. Code that. Human software. Real. I did do real like that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Chat. Latest. And we know it's listening with 88s. With the deployment, we'll add a port. Old port. Old port sounds really good. I don't drink port very often, but the older the better. 8080. And then we'll do a node port because I don't think this cluster has the cloud control manager set up. We don't need to. We're not going to do anything. Oh, we need to handle the node taint. Y'all are supposed to tell me that. Can't do that from here. All right, we'll have to create it. Then we'll grab the tolerance for it. Okay. I'm going to have to look up the tolerance, the whole tolerance thing, because I don't remember that syntax off the top of my head. We'll launch that. Not going to go anywhere. Oh, wait a minute. It's going to try to go somewhere and not go there, probably. Let's see where it's trying to go. There's a couple things we need to deal with. Oh. We don't have... Did not parse image reference. Well, also, it's trying to get on the... It's trying to get on the worker node. That's not going to work. So we're going to have to do a couple edits here. First things first, we're going to have to use node affinity because we want a Windows node. So every node in Kubernetes gets stamped with an OS tag. So I'll just show you this now. So if we look at these various nodes, they have labels on them for their operating system. So if we go to this and we go to edit, we go to labels and annotations, we can see here the Kubernetes IO OS. Can I select that? Maybe I'll select it. Don't let me change it. Let me select it, please. Like little copy symbols would be nice here. So it's kubernetes.io/os, and that's Windows. So we need to know that for our node affinity. The documentation in Kubernetes is called node affinity and anti-affinity. So we want it, and we need to know that Windows equals true, no schedule taint. So the first thing is we're going to require Kubernetes.io. Hopefully you can't hear the vacuum cleaner going upstairs. No, OS equals Windows. All right, and that will force it to reschedule. And so we can see here, we can actually see here, it's going to unschedule that thing. It's going to tell us that we can't because of the node taint. It will eventually delete this one. Not going to like that all day of the week. So we'll deal with the node taint. So I'm going to actually delete this pod. Terminated. And let's go look up the tolerance documentation. Tolerations. Not tolerance, tolerations. I've been saying it wrong this entire time. The aids and tolerations. Let's go grab an example, and we want, yep, this is the kind of toleration that we want, and we're going to grab that. I bet there's a Git, we'll do a little GitHub searching too before we finish up. Let's do a GitHub. Rancher toleration site GitHub. hub.com. There we go. Cluster agent. Workload. Yep. Here we go. Cluster toleration to UI does not work. Oh, it's closed. Priority 0. Oh, it should be in there. Where is it? Oh. I was looking right at it. If it were a snake, it would have bit me. I wouldn't have thought of it under node scheduling. Okay, I would have rather just had a separate section for this. There we... I'm not a smart man. Windows, through, node schedule. All right. We should end up getting one of these now. Eventually? Maybe? All right, how are we doing here? Unready? Okay. Hey, container creating! All right. Now, I know what's going on here. It's downloading that big, giant, huge, humongous IIS base image. That's all of 5 gigs. May have to wait a moment or two for doing that. So while we're doing that, let's set up an ingress role, because we already have the resource created. Resources, workloads, load balancing. Add an ingress. We'll use our handy dandy zip.io, ing. We'll just say, we'll make this thing multi-tenant. Tenant 1. Zip.io. We don't have a service yet, do we? Yes, we'll have a service. Remove that. Workload targeting, we'll use service targeting. Really old chat node port. Perfect. So anything going into there, go into my tenant 1, the 8080. Oh, it's just, yeah, that'll work. Actually, technically, every pod will be could be a separate tenant. So this thing's already multi-tenant. We got TLS to here and for TLS2, which wasn't supported by ASP Classic. It was supported by IS though. Let that initialize. Let's see how our workload is doing. Hit the wrong button. Leave that there. Don't even need the tolerations code. I thought I needed tolerations code. Yeah, things you learn. You think I know that? I actually read the docs of the system and use it all the time. So our ingress is there. Does not have minimum availability. What is wrong with you? Oh, you're still invalid image name. Did I do? Am I holding it wrong? I bet I'm holding it wrong. It? Yes, I am. None of you told me that. You're all watching and didn't tell me. All right. Container creating. Unavailable. Container creating. That looks better. Let's double check that while we're... We didn't even check to see if the actual thing worked. We should have checked this. So let's... Well, while that's doing that, let's go over to Windows machine and see if the Docker actually works. So Docker run more human, or just real old chat. And we need dash p for 8080. I can never remember if it's host container. I think it's host container. We'll know in a second. Oh. I didn't do a detach. That's okay. Localhost. 882. It's default.htm, right? Was it 88? Is it actually running? I have no idea if it's running. Yeah, it's running. Okay. Oh. That's a problem. What? I know what we forgot. I know what we forgot. Yep. All right. Docker build. You know what? There we go. Docker run. Docker refresh. Huh. I was expecting that to work. All right. Docker run help. No. You think I would know this? I always mix these up. Dash P container port to the host. Publish the containers port to the host. Container port, the host. I'm going to assume that's it. And I'm just holding it wrong. The local host. Not work. Huh. Let me check my notes for the last one of these that I did. Because I'm sure I'm just doing it wrong. Push. Docker run. File. Push. Come on. It's the host port to the container port. All right. Docker. Yes. Dash Q. We're just going to remove all these running things from our way. RM. And then we'll force them. So it just stop. Good. Let's go ahead and use. I did say host to container, right? Yeah, I think I did. So container. No, the container is 8080. The host is running. Been running for exposing 80. Well, 80 and 8080 TCP. Sorry, wrong screen. You can't see that. Service monitors running. Why can't I hit it? Am I redirecting this wrong? That screen? You aren't watching today, are you? Let's look at my other chat program to see how I did that. Docker run software chat. I don't have it in here. Huh. Not in that search. All right. Let's just Docker push. We did the expose. And we'll figure it out on the Kubernetes cluster. I have no idea what I did wrong there. It could drive me crazy now. Something's in the way. Me. All right. Scroll 1. Really old chat seems to be running. The endpoints. F and import 180. Hey. Okay. All right. So we don't have the expose. That's fine. We're gonna just go force it to redeploy. That'll force it to grab the new version of the pod. I have no idea why it's not working on my local Docker. Huh. That one is removing. How are we doing? Oh, access denied. .404 not found. Let's peek inside the container and see where everything is. All right, Docker. Okay, this is not bash. It's PowerShell. Working with software / real chat. Oh. Such container. More. That. Light wrong. Oh, so you're running container, not an image. It's like I said, it's been a while since I've just done straight old Docker, and you get things, you get rusty. All right, I'm in here. Okay, I've got chat, I've got inet pub, exactly what I expect to have. That's good. That's really good. That's actually really fun. Oh, I just locked the machine. That didn't kill the broadcast. I just locked the machine. Did I kill the broadcast? Maybe. Find out in a second. I'm watching my restream client over on my left. Hey, it's back. That was, whoops. That was pretty funny. All right. So we just copied the files wrong because we're smart. All right. Get out of here. Because I was building it from the desktop and not where the chat program lives. I know. I'm a smart person. I love doing it. This is the fun part of live. We're laughing at myself. So let's build, and it's going to be my desktop folder. Fortunately, this shortcut works in PowerShell. No. Oh, because it has to be in that directory. Okay, we're just going to copy. No. Yeah, it's the path is going to be all kinds of messy. So we're gonna go back into chat. Actually, let's just go back to. I'm going to go back to the desktop. And we're going to copy the Docker file. And we're going to copy the chat program here. So it's going to be :/chat, the whole folder, 2./chat, the whole folder. All right, and we're going to rename that because I don't know if it's case sensitive. And I know it's... Okay. Whatever. Oh, rename. Okay. We'll deal. If it fouls up, it fouls up, and we'll deal with it. All right. Copy the chat. And then let's just do a Docker run on this, just in case. Oh no, that Docker file's gonna be wrong too, isn't it? Nope, that's right. Files were specified. Where's... Yeah, that looks right. /chat/everything. Failed. Didn't it add? All right, let's add. Add failed. No source files were specified. Got to do a recursive copy. There we... Smart man. There we go. All right. Docker push. Docker build, Docker push. Going back up there. Next thing's next. Let's actually just Docker run. Docker run. 8084 to 8080. If that actually runs. I might have gotten that backwards. We may just go back to Kubernetes and redeploy it there. Yeah, I'm just going to deal with the Kubernetes side of it. My Docker brain is not working today. And then let's force this. Let's force a redeploy. Fine. Find. No. Having trouble finding that site. Okay. Try the node port. Hey, all right. Node port. Look at that. Ancient application. Y2K in Kubernetes. Oh, that's interesting. Let's pick up the IP from the stuff. It'll work. Hey, look at that. All right, really cool stuff. IP, so that should open up that and reset there. Each one of those pods would be a separate instance of this app. My ingress rule not working. I'm going to assume. All right. I'm not going to worry about the ingress for today. We've moved our application to Kubernetes with the chat. It might just be I have my my service set up wrong. I'm okay with that. So, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm on Twitter, twitter.com me, Jason Van Breckel. Or if you have any, or you can hit me up on Slack. I am at JVB or Juliet Victor Bravo. Don't know what we're going to talk about next time on the Ranchcast, but thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Oh, okay, it'll be goodbye as soon as I switch over to the machine that has OBS. Goodbye now.